Consensus on the way forward regarding restrictions in the country owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. You've been listening in to President Uhuru Kenyatta's status report on where the country is in regards to combating the fast-spreading coronavirus. Key pointers out of his address: cessation of movement into and out of the Nairobi metropolitan area, Mombasa and Mandera will lapse at 4 a.m. tomorrow, that is Tuesday, the 7th of July. Meanwhile, the nationwide curfew currently in force is extended for a further 30 days. The president indicated that by opening Nairobi, Mombasa and Mandera, we must all be aware that we will all be at more risk of contracting COVID-19, and therefore we must exercise cautious optimism and avoid reckless abandon, he said. He indicated that we must continue wearing our masks, washing our hands and exercising social distancing. The order to reopen, however, has been given conditionally. Should the situation deteriorate, the president said, we will revert back to lockdown. So it really is upon all of us as a nation to ensure that this works if we don't want to be in lockdown once again. In the next within the next 21 days, the ministry and various experts will study patterns and also check on the spread of the disease to monitor the situation. In addition, the Ministry of Education will jointly notify the public today, but no later than tomorrow, on the resumption of the 2020 academic calendar. Of course, many parents and teachers, no doubt, eager to know whether or not schools will indeed open in September or in January 2021. What we do know is that CS Magoha for Education has said that there is no way institutions ought to open until the cases decrease. So that'll be another interesting one to watch, and we will be keeping tabs on what develops from that. Also, another key pointer, the president said that only a maximum of 100 participants will be allowed to a worship ceremony, which should not last longer than an hour. Sunday schools and madrassas remain closed. So places of worship are in fact commencing a phased reopening of their congregational worship in strict conformity of guidelines and protocols. All right, there certainly were more other points that were made, but for those of you that may have missed it, let's just listen in to what the president had to say in summary.
Today I order and direct that the cessation of movement into and out of the Nairobi metropolitan area, Mombasa County and Mandera County that is currently in force shall lapse today or at 4 a.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, the 7th of July, 2020. Number two, I do order and direct that the nationwide curfew that is currently in force between the hours of 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. daily be and is hereby extended for a further 30 days. Following consultations with stakeholders in the education sector and cognizant of the surge in the rate of infections across the country, the Ministry of Education shall jointly, with all the stakeholders in the sector, today, but no later than tomorrow, notify the public on the resumption of the 2020 academic calendar.
All right, and those indeed were the key pointers coming out of President Uhuru Kenyatta's address this afternoon, which lasted around 45 minutes. He did begin by saying he wasn't going to speak for too long, but what the president did, of course, dwell on was the fact that the reopening of the country is also down to you and I. He said that this is a call to civic responsibility, and that civic responsibility is not a demand, but it is a duty. He emphasized that we must all, at this point in particular, be our brothers' keepers and our sisters' keepers as well. All right, we will be bringing you a breakdown of everything that was said in that speech in our subsequent bulletins.